Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? So, in today's video, we are going to take a look at the second of the new public events that will be arriving with nuka-world on tour in December. And this one is the Wild West-themed Most Wanted event. Okay, so before we crack on with this, the usual disclaimer. This is, of course, public test server content. It is unreleased and subject to change. If you guys want to avoid seeing any of this stuff before it is released into the live servers, this would be your spoiler warning, so consider yourself warned. And on that note, let's jump in. So, Most Wanted. It's a pretty cool Wild West-themed event. It's kind of fun. I like the look of it, and I've enjoyed having a little run through it. So let's have a look at what the patch notes have to say on this subject. So, Most Wanted. Mosey on to the Wild West Showdown, where Gunther is putting on a rootin' good time during his Wild West show. All he needs to set the stage is a few hotshot gunslingers like you to perform as outlaws. Once the event begins, fleece the town and its citizens of their belongings, and stash any ill-gotten valuables in your getaway wagon. There, prepare to defend your haul against the long, robotic arm of the law. Topple the sheriff during the ensuing shootout, and you'll be able to ride off into the sunset with some loot. That's a fair overview of the event. Obviously, big Wild West theme, we've got a kind of Old West town that is... It's kind of one of those temporary pop-up sort of vibes, so obviously the fronts look like a Wild West town, but you get behind it, it's wooden struts holding up plywood building fronts, so it's kind of fun in that regard, as you would imagine for a travelling carnival. And on a little T-junction there, it's quite a cool little spot. So to kick the thing off, we go over and talk to Gunther, who's hanging out front, and then the first thing we have to do is rob the townsfolk, as we are playing the outlaws rather than the sheriff's deputies, which would be a theoretical other option there, but it's pretty cool the way around it is. So around town you'll find a few sort of standees, wooden standees of townsfolk, all of whom have these little kind of safes sort of strapped to their chests. There's a little green light on the top of them. If the green light is on, you can rob them and loot that little safe that they're carrying. If it's off, then it's been recently looted, and you'll have to wait for it to pop up with that light on again. So you can get multiple attempts to take stuff out of them, but it does take a little while to reset. Also spread around the town, there are a number of safes, some of them really small, some of them full-sized safes. They've got really nice skins on, so I hope we get plans for those, because those would make nice camp objects. But you can loot those, it takes a little bit longer, but you get a few more bits of loot as well. So the goal is to fill the getaway wagon with 600 units of loot. And what kind of loot this is, it's not particularly specific, it's just listed as loot. But you head over to that thing, activate it, and fill it up, and everybody will be contributing to that combined pool. Slight drawback with that thing is you have to press and hold to put your loot into the wagon, and you do occasionally get people running across the front of you and interrupting your progress on that, which is mildly annoying, but if you're up close and personal to the thing, it makes it harder for people to do that, so something to bear in mind. It's quite a cool little wagon. I like the little giddy-up buttercup kind of horse at the front of the thing that's pulling it, which is kind of cool and fun, and keeps that kind of silly carnival vibe going, which is good fun. So once you've filled up that wagon, you will find the event progressing. So the next thing we have to do, once we've hit that 600 mark, is to defend the wagon from deputies and subsequently the sheriff. This bit's kind of fine. The deputies pop up, they actually pop up all the way through the event, but particularly towards the end, out of outhouses that are spread around the town. So that's kind of fun. Amusing tongue-in-cheek little choice there for spawning locations. The one drawback here is that there aren't very many of them, and they're basically protectrons, so they go down very, very easily. So, a little bit of potential balance issue there. If you are in a very small group, one or two of you, soloing it, something like that, you should be able to get through this event. The gathering of the loot might be a little bit more challenging, but other than that, it shouldn't be too bad. Defending the wagon would be very easy. And when you've got a larger group, the deputies go down very, very quickly because they're just protectrons, and I think you could definitely do with a few more of them to make it a bit more exciting and a bit more challenging to defend the wagon. After about 2.5 minutes of that, so another reason it could do with a few more enemies, the sheriff shows up at high noon, and he is basically a sentry bot that will pop up at the middle of town. Again, kind of a bit of a problem with too many players playing it, or with a large group. The sentry bot goes down very, very quickly. He is legendary, which is cool, so you get a legendary off him, as well as the legendary unique reward you get at the end. But yeah, he could definitely do with a little bit of toughening up, I think, definitely to make a bit more of a challenge in there. But overall, quite a fun event. Once you take down the sheriff, the event will end, and you will get your rewards. So, apart from the standard stuff, consumables, junk, that sort of stuff, We'll also get a unique legendary. I've seen 2 of them so far. We've got a revolver, which is another essentially 4-star in the mold of, say, the Fixer, where there is a set legendary effect and 3 others that you can change. The revolver's set effect is that it's switched to 45 ammo, so definitely easy to keep that equipped with ammunition. Don't know if it's any more powerful or less powerful. I haven't had the opportunity to compare those two. We'll have a look at them in a bit more detail in a subsequent video. But there's also a lever-action rifle in there that I have seen. I don't know if there are any others besides, but those are the 2 I've seen so far. That one looks pretty cool. They've got nice unique skins on them. The lever-action rifle does have a unique legendary effect as well, so I could see that lever-action being a little bit more useful than perhaps the revolver is to most people, but it's good fun. And of course you can re-roll the effects on it to make it a little bit more effective as well. So yeah, overall, kind of a fun event. Definitely got a cool tone, and I enjoy the kind of carnival western vibe of the location as well. Couple of problems with it, specifically that there aren't really enough enemies compared to the number of players who are likely to be doing the event. I think that could do with the bumping up, and the sheriff could do with being a little bit tougher as well. One other thing that is kind of odd for me to be saying is that the town could perhaps do with a little less clutter, to be honest. There are a number of things in the streets and cluttering up the area that kind of get in the way with you moving around the event. You can jump over them and run around them and all that, but it just gets a little bit in the way to my mind. So I'd pull some of that back personally. As to whether or not they will, who knows. But I'd normally say more clutter is a good thing. In this case, definitely not. But yeah, all in all, a fun event. There's some cool plans to be had from it. There's some fun Western-themed camp stuff. And yeah, it's just a fun little 10-minute thing that will run, as say, with all of the regular public events every 20 minutes or so, or one of them will pop up every 20 minutes. This might be one once it goes live on the main servers. So yeah, hope you folks did find this interesting and informative. I definitely enjoyed this event. Hope you guys will as well. If you did like the video, please do drop subs, likes, and all that other good stuff. Check out all the buttons and links and stuff down below the video as well. The support down there really, really helps out, so I massively appreciate it. Much obliged. If you get a chance, join us for live streams as well. We are, of course, playing Fallout 76, and we're playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands at the moment, and have a couple of other cool things lined up for the rest of the year, so I hope you'll join us for those. Do check out the recent very, very cool Starfield news as well. I will keep bringing you that as well. So, notification bell if you do want to keep up with all that good stuff. On that note, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.